I often get questions about moving from controller to mouse and keyboard, so in this video I will cover tips to get you started and explaining things you most likely won't hear in other videos. These tips are geared more towards newer people who are just starting out on PC Apex, and most of these tips might even bleed into other FPS games as well, on mouse and keyboard. That out of the way, let's get started. Now, I'm gonna open this up with the best tip I can possibly give you that will instantly improve your effectiveness in a gunfight. Nothing is worse than being caught off guard, especially when you're playing a game where every shot counts. Simply practicing crosshair placement will give you an extreme advantage while playing. With your gun all ready to fire at center mass of your enemy, you might even outgun them in a gunfight. This technique will make clearing out rooms or hallways much easier and your damage output much higher. As you can see in this example, because of my crosshair placement, I was able to easily line up headshots out damaging my enemies. Practicing this will transfer most of the stress of aiming to your keys, meaning WASD. Pulling the trigger when you line up the first shot, giving you more control of the gunfight. This opens up loads of techniques that higher level players use in their gameplay, like properly using cover. Dipping in and out of cover better than your enemy with your crosshair ready to do the damage is a huge advantage that will definitely change your gameplay for the better. And only so much could be accomplished before learning the weapons of Apex Legends. Comparing Apex Legends gun recoil to other games, I'm sure by now you know that the game has a pattern for each weapon, and it is not as complex as other FPS games. Learning these patterns and practicing them will help you develop muscle memory for each time you use the weapon. Remember, you gotta crawl before you can start walking. Learning these might take a bit of time, so I recommend you load up into firing range, pick up your favorite automatic weapon, learn the pattern without using any attachments, so in game when you come across your bread and butter, lay down some serious damage with your knowledge of the gun's mechanics. But what happens if you prefer something like the Wingman 30-30 or even the Sentinel? Or who could forget the Mastiff's devastating power or the Hammer Point Mozambique combo? There are two main attributes when aiming on mouse and keyboard. Although it's important to learn both, it's also important to realize what your strong suit is. As a player, you'll get great tracking by easily finishing an enemy out of position, close or long range, without spending more than 2 magazines. This comes with tons of practice and experience. Flicking is where you're able to effectively change where you're aiming accurately. Think of this as more of an advanced form of tracking, able to track where multiple targets are and quickly adjust your aim accordingly. Once you play enough, you'll start to feel where you're most comfortable at and use weapons that support your talent. For example, players that are great at tracking should be using weapons like the Flatline and R99, while players that are good at flicking should be using something like the Wingman and the Mastiff. Both weapon types have their advantages, but most higher level players lean more towards weapons that deal a large amount of damage in a small time frame, allowing them to peek, deal damage, and change position. I personally see my strength in flicking, so you will see me mainly using weapons that support that. But like I said, it's important to learn both. Congratulations. If you watched this video to the end, then I'm here to reward you for taking interest in learning to improve instead of giving into the convenience of aim assist. This tip will tackle mouse acceleration, a default setting in most computers, but turning this off will make you more consistent with all the tips listed in this video. If you are on Windows 10, simply go to your control panel, select Hardware and Settings, select Mouse. From there, navigate the menu and go to Pointer Options. Under the Motion tab, uncheck the box for Enhance Pointer Precision. Normally, this will change the speed of your mouse depending on how fast you move it. Now that it's no longer active, the speed will always be the same no matter how fast you adjust your aim. Remember, consistency is key. Also, if you have a mouse that came with its own downloadable software, make sure you navigate that menu and make sure that it's off in there as well. With all these tips, I hope you benefit and improve on the not so easy path of learning a new way of playing a very familiar game. If you wish to support me for free, consider subscribing and leaving a like on the video. I also stream on Twitch, where I often give out most of my tips. A link for that will be in the description as well. If you have any questions or topics you would like my input on, leave them in the comments because I normally read every single one of them. And if you're interested in getting tips for Call of Duty, I recommend you check out Priam's video. It actually helped me out a lot when I first started playing COD. As always, stay fresh, stay yourself, and have yourself a damn good one.